Alright, so these are the cases for the 2004 Maico 500. So, you can see you have both sides of cases. So, this is the Maico 2004 that now has an engine transplanted on it. I was using up that bike, so it's the same bike. These both are 2004s. This one has the 2005 upgrades up to forks. Has a Riger rear shock, so it's a little different. Whereas this one has a WP rear shock and these more conventional front forks. So I put this motor on here for now, so this bike can continue to be functional, and the other bike is in all these little parts. All these little boxes are all in the little parts in there. So this motor will be rebuilt, and then once that motor goes, or at some point I'll replace it once this is rebuilt. One of the main differences though is that this motor will have enduro gearing, whereas it originally only had motocross gearing. Same with that bike, which means first gear is extremely tall, and it's almost hard to ride unless you gear it down, which I have with big sprockets. So at least hard to ride in the woods, because you'll be using the clutch so much, because you really don't want to be doing 45 mile an hour in first gear, which is what it does. It's geared way too high before going to the tight single track and stuff. So now I will be having a video of how I'm going to put the transmission together and switch the gears. But for now, the first thing is I have to go through and get these bearings out. So since this is apart, to do the bottom end, I need to take out these bearings. So on this side you have two bearings, and you have a seal and a seal. The seal take out. And on this side you have three bearings. There's actually two bearings in here, a seal in the middle, and then a bearing here. And so to get the bearings out, there's a couple ways you can do it. One way is you put it in the oven, let it heat up, and hopefully that this heats up enough that the bearing falls out as this expands. Of course, the bearing's going to expand too, so it may not fall, but I've had it happen. Both have happened where it just fell out, and one of you still had to hammer it out a little bit. Another way we can do it is we can take a hammer and hammer these out. And another way, we can use a press. I do have a cheap press over there. You can press them out. So what I'm going to do is what I have been doing for most of my recent ones is pressing, or I haven't been pressing them out, I've been actually just hammering them out now. So that's what we'll do here. I'll show you how I do that, and then once you have them out, you can figure out what bearings to order. And I'll show you how to do that. Originally, when I was doing bearings, I used to go through suppliers that would deal with motorcycle parts, and I would just say, give me the bearings for the Maico engine. I found that that's actually more expensive. There's a huge markup on the bearings, and these are standard bearings. Someone then told me that all you have to really do is get the bearing numbers off of these, and then go to a bearing supply company and give them the numbers and then order them. So that's what we'll be doing, and you'll get the bearings much cheaper. Alright, the first thing here is we're going to try to get out that seal. And we don't want to screwdriver it up. So what I'm going to try to do is hammer this in now. One of the things you want to make sure you do is, I usually use a socket, so it's not that hard. And make sure that I use the extension. That way I'm nowhere near these cases, because the last thing you want to do is bang on this thing and then smash the case. So hold it up here. Do it evenly around. As you can see, it's almost out. That's out. Now the next thing is, you want to get this out, and flip it over. I actually have much bigger sockets to hammer that out. And of course the same thing, use an extension, make sure you're far away from the case, hammer in the middle. Okay, now, as you can see here, run into a problem where this middle piece has stayed in. Okay, so how do I deal with that? Well, you do have a lip in there, so you're going to have to use the hammer and the screwdriver this time. So, that's how you do it. That's one way. So, you know, this middle piece was plastic, so it just flimsy popped out. But these things are really good to keep now, because now I can use it to hammer in the next piece that goes on top of there. And I actually keep these types of things. I have a huge drawer that's full of bearing parts and broken down bearings. The reasoning is so that I can use these later on to do pressing other bearings in, or hammering in of other bearings. So, okay. So here's this bearing. And there's a number on it. It says 305E. So that's the bearing that I need. Okay, the next piece here, and this bearing here is, we'll get out this one. There's a little clip in it. So we have these. Take the clip. Now it clips out, we can again hammer. Alright, so again, using this, we're just going to hammer it. There it is. And the number on this one, 3205, it looks like. I'll have to take a look at it closer later. because there's also other numbers in there. 2RS. So. Alright, still need to get out the seal that's in here. For that, it's probably pretty simple to do. So you get a little seal that's in there. So, just focus on that. Okay, seal it out. Now onto this one. Okay, so this one here, we've got this on this side with our clip we're gonna get out. Like that. So, okay. Again, I'm going to use this to pound it out. What I'm going to do, move it over here and reverse how to tap that one. Just fell out pretty easily. And you can see in there, there's our clip in the middle. That's it. There's that clip in the middle. So we have this, which is a seal. Goes like that. Goes in like that. Goes in the middle, and then this bearing which is 305E, same as your side. Okay, we have one more bearing to get out, this one, but we do need to take out this container. And as you can see what the bearing name is, on it, 6204E. Yes, and you do not have to, definitely true, you do not have to pound on these bearings. You can just press them out, like I said. I haven't had any problems using any of these methods. So, actually on this side I will just keep this in. And I will switch to this. Just pound it out that way. Because I'll have to pound it in this way anyways. So I'll just make sure when doing this though that there's no obstructions, that the bearing will come out, and that you don't get damage to cases whenever you pound on it. See? That was tapped out. That's good. Then you gotta bang on. So you're gonna bang on all these and then just tap right out like that one did. So there we have it. So that's how you take out the bearings. That's one way of taking out the bearings anyways. And you can clean them up. We can clean these up and order new bearings. Like I said, all you gotta do is look at the inscription on the bearing itself to get the numbers, and then just go to a bearing company or order the bearings directly.